Welcome to WholeCEO with Lisa G. I'm the best-selling author of The Boss Weight Loss. I'm bringing you the top tips to be unstoppable. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to actually pull up a chair with today's top experts in mindset, weight loss, business, and more. Learn our top tips so that you can have more energy, be fit and resilient, feel unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. He's a Navy combat veteran who served 3 decades leading elite teams to succeed on complex missions in high-risk environments despite every obstacle. He has 20 plus years as a successful CEO, COO, led several lasting transformations of global enterprises, and along with his 2 daughters, founded the Alaki Leadership Group, a strategic accelerator providing unique senior executive leadership coaching and fractional C-suite leadership. Joe Polanin. Welcome to the podcast, Joe.
Lisa, thank you so much. It's my honor and privilege to be here, and I greatly appreciate you having me.
I'm very honored to have you here. Did I mangle the name of your business? Do you want to restate that?
Alakai. That's okay.
Alakai.
Alakai is a word in Hawaiian that means great leadership. It's a lot more like a culture or a lifestyle or an ethos than it is a skill or capability. My daughters actually picked out the name, and we love it, and it stuck because we believe it fits who we are and why we do what we do.
Awesome. Okay, Alakai. Well, I'm a big Hawaii fan, so I won't forget it next time. So let's jump into the content. I want our audience to know, how can we build a foundation for successful organizations?
Yeah, Lisa, the foundation of every successful team, every successful organization, company, enterprise starts with 3 pillars, and that's vision, strategy, and people.
Right.
What is the vision for your team? What's your goal? Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Imagining that end state, and then very simply writing it down and getting after it. Having a vision. Number 2, having a plan, having a strategy, a plan of action milestones that sets forth the action steps that says, okay, team, how are we going to set forth and achieve that vision? What are we going to do each week, each month, each quarter? How's our team going to be aligned? How are we going to be integrated and synchronized? You have to have a plan. And finally, people. People are our most precious resource. They breathe life into who we are and what we do. It matters not what industry or sector you're in. People must be inspired. They must be champions for that cause. They must understand how and why what they do is important. They must be valued. They must be respected. They must know it. And they must know that their leaders care about them. When you have that, and you have that alignment between those pillars, the vision, the strategy, and the people, such an organization is unstoppable in my experience. However, without that firm foundation, moving forward, it can be very difficult. So it's very important to have that foundation and have the interrelationship and the interconnection between those pillars, vision, strategy, and people.
I love the vision, strategy, and people, because I think all great leaders like yourself are visionaries. And it's sort of like, once you have the vision and you can enroll your people, and then you can reverse engineer the plan of the how. And then, of course, you need accountability of somebody to hold your feet to the fire, to do the things that they said they were going to acquire the vision and goals that they said matter. Isn't that correct, Chief?
100%. And you mentioned such an extraordinarily important word and concept, which is that of accountability. Sometimes people hear accountability and they think immediately of something negative. Like, oh, I didn't meet this deadline, or I didn't meet this goal, or I was supposed to do this by Friday and I didn't get it done. I'm accountable. Yes, that's true. But accountability also is the leader the managers at all levels, the teammates on a team saying, how are you doing? Do you have what you need to meet that goal? Are you on track? Yes, I'm on track. I don't need anything. Or wait a minute, I'm having a problem. I did not foresee this issue or this variable, and I'm not going to make it. I might need help in order to get this across the goal line. That's accountability also. And the leader recognizing that it's important to ask those questions. It's important to be in touch with the pulse of teams at every echelon in the organization, whether it's a team of 2 or a team of 20,000. Asking those questions about, are you able to achieve the goals that you have set forth? What do you need from your leadership team to help you? That's also accountability. It's a two-way street.
Absolutely. And I love the way that you create a safe space in doing that for communication, because I feel like communication is where a lot of leadership is breaking down lately with all this quiet quitting. And I think that employees need to feel like their opinion matters and that they're heard, and then they will buy in better to the company vision. Isn't that true?
Absolutely. The best teams that I have both had the privilege of participating in and also observing at other organizations, the very best teams, that the leadership and the management work together and they create that environment that you talked about that's so important, the environment that's conducive to individual success and team success. Yes. One can't just say, I want the team to be effective. The way it works is one person and one leader and one teammate at a time. The environment is created that enables open communication, honesty, transparency, fosters mutual respect, trust. People feel valued. Yeah. They know that they not only do they respect each other, but that their leaders up and down in the chain of command respect them, care about them, want to build trust with them. And when a team and the teammates on that team, when they know they are valued, they are respected, they are cared for, they will be listened to, they will be heard, their opinion matters. Not only does it matter, the team will fall apart without their opinion. Everyone may not get their way every time, but in my experience, the teams that bring in diverse viewpoints, a variety of options of successful ways to solve a problem or to achieve the goal, those are the teams that in the end will find a better result that's more powerful, that sticks. And those are the teams that enhance mutual respect across the organization and build trust. In my experience, a team like that's unstoppable, and there really isn't any limit to what they can achieve together. But you're right, it starts with that environment where people know that they're valued, and it's okay. It's okay to bring up good news. It's okay to bring up bad news. We've heard many times, don't shoot the messenger. It's okay to talk about everything. There's nothing that's off the table. When a team has that, that's like a catalyst and a spark that allows them to elevate to the next level.
I love that you dig so deep into the fact that people need to be heard. And I wish all leaders were like you. I feel like all the crazy events of the last 3.5 years have put everybody in this lack and fear and worry type of situation in leadership, where they're not actively listening to people. And I have found that when people can hear me repeat back what I have said to make sure they've got it right, and then ask if there's more, then by actively listening, the person is going to be more bought into the big vision of the company, right?
Oh, definitely. And you mentioned something that made me think of this concept about listening. The very first assignment that I had when I was in command, this is analogous to being a CEO, I thought that the most important thing that I could do for the organization was communication. But I was only half right.
Right, listening.
The most important thing is listening. It's that element of communication that's listening. And when we listen, it's listening with the sole purpose of understanding what the other person's trying to say. Many times we are so focused on what the next goal is, or what the next objective is, or some looming deadline, or some priority, that we're not really listening to understand the other person and seek that in deeply. What we're doing is we're listening because we're already thinking about what our response is going to be. And that's where, as leaders, we need to continuously evaluate ourselves, look in the mirror, and make sure that we're doing that. Because that one simple act of genuinely caring about what somebody else's point of view is, even if you end up disagreeing, which may occur, or it may not occur. You may listen to this and you may say, wow, that's outstanding. Listening with the sole purpose of understanding the other person's point of view is invaluable, and so many teams benefit from that greatly.
Well, I'm so glad that you said that it's a simple thing. It's a simple thing, but it's not always done. And I think a lot of people are listening to respond. They are not open-minded to getting feedback and input from people that are their direct reports because they know it all. So I think you have to have an open growth mindset to be able to listen, to understand.
Yes, 100%. And there's a phrase that I learned very early in my military career, and it goes like this: I am not the smartest person on my team.
Right.
If whether a leader, a manager, a teammate, a junior member, brand new hire, just starting out your career, if you start out every day thinking, I'm not the smartest person on my team, there's always someone who knows something more than me, who has more experience, it has a deeper strength with respect to this particular discipline, or has a knowledge or experience or expertise that I just simply don't have. Then you will have, number one, humility, and number two, that open mind that you mentioned, where you'll be receptive to these kinds of things, and you'll say, okay, wow, that's an idea that had not occurred to me before. And I remember vividly certain operational circumstances where the least experienced person on the team came to the most experienced person on the team and said, hey, you might be doing this wrong. I think there's a mistake that you're making here. And that leader initially, what are you saying? I know what I'm doing. I've done this 100 times.
Right.
And later on, that person went back and said again, I think you might be making a mistake. And a second time, that leader shrugged it off. And the third time, that very junior person, very inexperienced, had the courage, because there was an open environment, and went back to the leader a third time. And I said, I just need to tell you, I think you're making a mistake. And when that leader stopped, looked in the mirror, and saw what he was doing, he realized that he was wrong, and that the junior member was right. He fixed the problem, and that operation went on to be highly successful. Well, what if there wasn't an open environment? Or what if that junior member just didn't have the courage to go back a third time?
Right.
I don't like to think about what ifs. I like to think about what happens and what will be. I don't hypothesize, but that's an example of what you mentioned earlier: having that open environment, having an open mind, where you, not only are you humble, but you want to learn when you might make a mistake, and how the team can become stronger because of it.
Wow. I think that is why you're so successful. And that's why big companies are successful. You're not saying you have to be the smartest person in the room. You're smart enough to surround yourselves with other people that can contribute in different areas. So like, let's say you have your zone of genius and you're in your lane, you want to surround yourself with other people that are amazing at other areas too, right?
Oh, absolutely. It is a principle that I find to be invaluable, as you mentioned. So it doesn't matter what industry or sector you're in, you bring a skill set, you bring a set of experience, expertise, and you bring areas where you are proficient. Right? There's an old adage that I've gone by for years, the difference between education, qualification, and proficiency. Right? Education, you learned something.
Right.
Qualification, you met some minimum standard.
Yeah.
Proficiency, how great are you at that thing that you are educated and qualified in?
Right.
Sometimes people focus more so on the qualification or the title or the position as opposed to the proficiency. Well, when you surround yourself with people who are more proficient than you at areas that you just don't have, is, you can't do it all. So don't try.
Right.
Surround yourself with the best possible people, then have the wisdom to allow them to do what it is that they're great at. And this comes back to the concept of delegation. When you're on a team, I always like to say delegation is not abdication. You don't simply say to someone, okay, this is your job, you're in charge.
Right.
You teach them the right way to do it. You inform them about the high standards of the team and of the organization, and then you allow them to do what it is that you have delegated to them. If you do it right, sometimes to the leader, it can seem a little bit uncomfortable because you're thinking, wow, I'm not doing this myself. You know what? That's okay. Because as we increase in scope of responsibility, we're going to do less and less, and we are going to empower and elevate others to do more and more and accomplish more together.
Okay, well, do you have any last tips for our audience? Because all the stuff that we're talking about is pure gold. I hope you guys are taking notes. Let's say you already have the vision, you already have a good team in place. Are there any final wisdom bombs you want to drop on our audience about operational and strategic excellence once you have this vision in place?
Yes, Lisa, thank you for asking that. And there are three. As one moves forward, as the team moves forward with that foundation that you mentioned, there are three lenses or three layers, if you will, that the organization must ensure that it is doing simultaneously, right? There's a strategic level, what I refer to as a strategic level, an operational level, and a tactical level. From the bottom up, the tactical level is what I like to call delivering excellence. Whatever your business is, whatever your company is, you have clients, you have customers, you're providing goods or services. You want to make sure that you are exceeding your clients' expectations every day. That's a full-time job. And there are people in your organization that have to make sure that that happens every day. You don't just want to meet clients' expectations. Right. You want to exceed them. Number two, you have that strategic level, which is the thinking about and the actions about what types of partnerships, alliances, relationships do you want to have for your organization to move forward and achieve that vision. Building those relationships that are based on trust and meaningful respect, organization to organization, at a very high strategic level. And then right in the middle, tying it all together, is what I refer to as operational excellence. This is the gritty, often unglamorous work that is necessary to make sure that everyone in the organization, across all the different functional areas, administrative, operations, logistics, legal, research and development, whatever it is, everyone's moving in the same direction. They're integrated, they're synchronized, they know where they fit, they know why what they do is important, they're valued, as we talked about before, and the organization is moving together. Those cross-functional teams are all anchored and they're all moving together, almost like when you watch a crew team. If you've ever watched a crew team rowing, I'll leave you with this imagery. Everyone's pulling in the same direction. They're strong, they know exactly what they're doing, and they're all facing backwards. Because the coxswain has the rudder, and the coxswain is able to make the small adjustments over time. And this elusive vision, the goal line or the finish line that they're trying to achieve, is not visible to them, but they know they're going to make it, and they know they're going to win because of that unity of effort and everyone rowing in the same direction. So strategy, operations, and tactical levels at the same time, rowing in the same direction, unity of effort. That's the invisible accelerator that makes that that makes that happen. That's the image I'd leave you with.
Well, I love the focus on excellence. And if people want more of these great things, where can they find you?
Absolutely. thealakai.group.com, TheALAKAI group.com. Also Joe, Joe, at thealakai.group.com. You can reach me there, also on my LinkedIn profile. And there's more information, not only about the depth and breadth of what we talked about today, but if you're interested in speaking with me about how we can accelerate your vision, I'm glad to do that.
Well, Joe Polanin, thank you so much for being a great guest on the podcast.
Thank you, Lisa. It's my honor. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming to Whole CEO with Lisa G. After over 20 years helping people lose weight and get fit, I'm so excited to announce that I found the missing link with my coaching. Message me if you want to learn how to look better, feel better, and go faster with a master. Lisa G at lisagfit.com.